Hello everyone, my name is Beatrice Bowden. I am an actor and today I will be acting as a presenter. And I'm here to chat and discuss the award-winning comedy film or romantic comedy film Titus and Mirabella with the two lead actors, the producer, director and writer of the film. But before we go on to chat about the film so you can find out more about it, I wanted to name a few of the awards and nominations that this short film has already received only from September onwards. So we've got Best Romance Short at the Lady Filmmakers Festival in Beverly Hills in Los Angeles, where they also received the nomination for Best Actor in a Short Film. They also received the award for Best Comedy Film at Oniros Film Awards in St. Vincent, Italy. And at the same festival, they also received a nomination for Best Acting Duo. At the Bucharest Film Awards in Romania, they were part of the official selection, and the film also premiered in Romania there for the first time. At the Portland Comedy Film Festival, they received a nomination for Best Romantic Comedy. At Austin Comedy Short Film Festival, they received a nomination for Best International Film. And again, ladies and gents, this is only a handful of festivals that they have entered so far, but I know that they are going to more, so there's more coming up. Now, before we delve into the conversation and we start chatting about the film, I want you all to have a look at the trailer. So yes, stay tuned.
I was trying to get over it as soon as possible.
For what?
Over the kissing business.
Kissing business?
Yeah. Once it's out of our way, then we are officially dating.
Cheers.
Cheers. A chili one and the sweet one.
I'm sorry, I'm always getting when I'm nervous.
So I have no idea how to deal with you women.
I don't really like germs.
What? Germans? Hello, fair lady.
So, hello Melania and Axel, thank you so much for being here today and chatting to us about this wonderful film, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I really, really did. I was wondering if we can start at the beginning and if you can tell us a little bit about yourselves and your careers or your career avenues so far. Maybe you've done more than acting. So yeah, if you can tell us a little bit about that and what's it been like for you so far in this industry.
So I've trained as an actor in Romania for 3 years, and then I went on to do a further study in Germany for 2 years. I'm not going to call it a master because it wasn't really a master's degree, but it was just like a 2 years workshop, if you want to. I started working as an actor right after graduating in Germany. I landed my first main role in an independent film there. And from there, I landed my first agent in Germany, and then I decided to move to London, where I also got my first agent, and I started to do some short films. In Germany, I've also done some TV, but in the UK, I've only done shorts and commercials until now, so I'm looking forward to that feature film project. So yeah, and recently I've just felt the need to create myself script and to develop myself projects, because as you probably also know, as an actor, it's very rarely that you get to play the roles that you want to. And even if you would be on a more advanced level in your career, you would still struggle, I think, to find interesting parts for women, especially. Yeah. So I think this is the future for a lot of actors, I think, creating our own material, our own content, because otherwise there's just too many of us and there's just too little to few projects.
And opportunities, yeah. And I was going to say here, I wanted to add, because at the beginning I said we will be talking to the two lead actors, the producer, the director, and the writer, and yet here we are, three people.
Yes.
So for those who don't know much about Titus and Mirabella yet, because they will at the end of this interview, Melania is playing the lead female character. She also wrote the script, directed the film, and produced the film from start to finish. So that's why we have all of these sort of people condensed into one very brave and strong and smart young woman. Thank you so much for that, Melania. That was lovely. Axel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to and what you do as an actor?
Yes, I'm Axel Moustache, and my name already tells you I'm also Romanian. So me and Melania are two Romanians that met in Germany and done a movie in English. I have my background in theater, improv, and nonverbal productions. And I'm represented by Bamba actors, Munich, Germany, and London, UK. I play mainly in the last years in German productions, but now with this project, I'm in festivals in California, in Portland. So
you're nominated all
over the world.
Best actor, yes. So let's see what the future gives us. I enjoy every project, and Titus and Mirabella. That's a beautiful project.
Wonderful. Many years in the making, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I think it was definitely worth it, and you can see that now in the number of nominations and selections at festivals and awards as well. So to go back to basics, Melania, I was wondering, how did the idea of Titus and Mirabella come about, and where did the inspiration for the story itself came from?
So the inspiration came from actually being an actor. Being at the beginning of my career, I just wanted to do a scene for my show reel. So that was my goal. And I remember it was spring, and the city looked absolutely marvelous with all the trees blooming and everything. And it was finally warm outside, and I could sit by the river and read and write. And I just started, I just got, I had just broken up with my boyfriend at the time. And I was going through a phase where, like, I was kind of in pain, but also sort of daydreaming about the perfect relationship, you know. And sort of from this kind of romance that was in the air that spring, and my kind of daydreaming, the last scene in the movie kind of came to life. And for those who know, the last scene in the film is probably the most romantic one. So that was the first scene that I wrote. And then I knew from the start that I wanted it to be also comedic, because I really wanted to have, I had some drama scenes in my show reel, and I really wanted to have something on comedy as well. So I started to add some comic sort of
elements, maybe
elements and vibe to it. And I got inspired for that from the two sitcoms that I love most, the two British sitcoms called As Time Goes By and The Fine Romance, both starring Judi Dench, and both written by Bob Larby, actually, who is, I think it's one of the best dialogues that I've ever seen on TV, the best comedic dialogues, absolutely fantastic. So I highly recommend those. They're a bit older, so I think one of them was shot in the 60s and one of them in the 90s, 2000. But the dialogues are still so modern and cool
and relevant, I guess.
And relevant, Yes,
Mhm.
and the acting is just, I'm just in awe, and I could watch it over and over again and laugh every time at the same line, which just proves how wonderful the dialogue is. And I got inspired by these two sitcoms, and I really wanted to be in something like that, and in something like so high from a quality point of view. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the main inspirations.
The main
behind
inspirations
them.
and how it came to life and where it started. It's amazing, I think, how sometimes they can start from something so small and then just sort of develop into something much bigger. Great. And so, Axel, I was wondering, at what point did you become involved in the project, and how did that happen?
At the Facebook moment, when I received, I think somebody tagged me in for a casting for this project. Melania was looking for Romanian actors that can act also in German and English. Although my character does only, I think, 2 lines in German, but that was also something she asked for, and people knew that I can speak German, and then we had the casting on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger. It was my first casting on this platform, and the first casting was a success.
It was a video call, yeah.
I was going to say that I actually, it's interesting that you had this, and this was way before Zoom days. You know, now everyone's on Zoom, everything happens over internet, but back then it wasn't so common, I guess, right?
I'm just going to make a small bracket here. The reason why I did, I put on a casting call on Facebook, and I got many submissions from actors, and the way I did it, it was just reading through the script with the actors. So I didn't want them to learn the lines or anything, or so it was an audition, but actually it was just a read through the script. Because I really think that you can tell whether an actor is right or not for a part through on a cold reading. You don't need all that fuss about casting and calling people 100 times in, and I think, and it's also not fair because you're wasting people's time, you know. But that was just a bracket for
no, that makes a lot of sense. And
that casting was 4 years ago, to tell why it was not on Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. I should have mentioned that. That's great. So that's when you became involved, and then how long was it between the casting call and the actual production and shooting days in Passau, right?
Yes, it was, I think 2 or 3 months. Melania?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
So you had a fair amount of time to prepare and get your stuff ready, and because you were traveling to a different country at the end of the day, so you needed time to prepare and everything.
I didn't know that I got a part then.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm sorry.
I think that happened only with about 3 weeks before or something like that.
A month before, I think.
A month. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so I was wondering now if you could both tell me what were your favorite parts during the filming process, and maybe just one thing that you really loved during the filming of Titus and Mirabella.
Axel, would you like to start?
Wow, it's so difficult. I think I will say some points, not only one.
Yeah, sure.
The first is after one week of rehearsals, we had then we rehearsed every scene more times. Melania, the director, told the actors Axel and Melania what they should change and try different things. So we rehearsed, but only each scene separately. And after that week, she got all the extras, and we've made like in theater, we've made the whole.
We played the whole film, like a
Yes.
theater play.
Like a run.
Like a run from the
yeah.
beginning to the end.
And
Wow, that's interesting. I've never heard of that in film, but that sounds great.
yes, and the extras and the other actor, the actor that is the bartender,
The waiter. Yeah.
the waiter, yes. I think they didn't know the whole script, and it was beautiful to see how they reacted to everything that we thought it will be funny, but then it was like, and in the end, everybody got up and it was a standing ovations, and we were
wow.
very proud. So that was one of
Thanks for
things,
reminding me of that moment, because I almost forgot about that. It was really, really nice. Yeah. It was actually a rehearsal with everybody on set, with all the actors and extras. Some extras had read the script, but some not. Some didn't.
and
So we kind of, sorry, go on.
It's in the same idea. If I'm not wrong, I think it was on another set, on a restaurant, and afterwards we had to shoot in another place because that one changed.
Yeah, we had we wanted to shoot it in a cafe, in a kind of jazz club cafe. And then we had to find a new location because I think there was some event going on or something on the days that we had planned for the shooting.
For the actual
but we
shooting,
did this long run. We did it in the initial location, so not in the one that you will see in the film, but in a different one. Yeah.
So afterwards, we had to change a little bit the movements, but okay.
Yeah, but I was going to say, actually, that's so nice, because if some of the supporting the background actors didn't read the script, and then their reactions to your interactions and what you were doing confirmed that it was funny and that you made the right choices, which I think it's great, because I think sometimes in film it tends to be a little bit difficult because you don't have the feedback of the audience straight away. Hello.
It's one of Axel's daughters.
yes, I know. So I think that's really, really nice. Was there anything else that you really, really enjoyed during filming, Axel?
It's for me.
Yeah, if there was anything else that you really enjoyed.
Please.
That's okay.
Yes. So what?
And so I was asking, if there was anything else, before I asked Melania the same question, if there was anything else that you really, really enjoyed about filming, what, like, another favorite thing about filming the film?
Yes.
Shooting the film.
Yeah. So one was at the I think the first day of shooting, when it was a non-verbal scene that was very good, but it was cut from the movie because it was Melania wrote first. I think there were 8 pages when I had the casting. That was the whole script, and when I was coming to shoot with 1 month
to rehearse.
To rehearse and shoot, then there were about 25 pages or something like that. 50, a lot more, and it was, I must learn, and we too have most of the lines.
Yeah, of course.
So it was, wow. It changed a bit from the casting,
from the initial. Yeah,
so we shot a lot more scenes than in the actual movie. And the thing is, for this, it was like I felt like Buster Keaton, if you know him, a non-verbal comedian.
Oh yes, yeah.
Buster Keaton, yeah.
Yes, and because Melania made me this the
hairstyle.
The hairstyle, and then it was like, because the costumes and hairstyle, and that was in the last after we rehearsed. We talked a bit, but we didn't
actually. Yeah.
Yes, and it's a saying that when you got the costume, you got also the character. And it was like that. Wow, now I know how to play this, and although the scene was cut out, the character was then more alive.
That's when the character came to life, you mean? When
Yes.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what
Cool.
you mean.
I didn't know this. I'm
That's
finding
very
out so
interesting.
many things.
Yeah. What about you, Melania? What were your favorite parts, or maybe something that you really, really enjoyed during the filming?
I have a soft spot for the second part of the film. I really like the night scenes. I feel like they are. I didn't plan them to be that kind of poetic, but they sort of happened to be very poetic, and I mean also the cinematography. And but I actually already started to feel this. Sorry for that. I already started to feel this kind of romantic vibe in the air, or kind of, but not in a like this poetic vibe during the shooting, during the night scenes. And I remember we were shooting in the car in the evening, and then we shot the last scene until 2:00 in the night. So it was a night shoot. And I remember I was so relaxed and I had so much fun. It wasn't so stressful anymore. And and I got to enjoy more the acting part than in the restaurant scenes. And I remember that I just thought, wow, now I feel like on a real film set, just being an actor without the whole responsibility. So those little moments where I finally felt free as an actor and in the moment as an actor were the best. And that happened in the night scenes more than in the restaurant scenes.
And would you say,
sorry,
if I'm not mistaken, that were also the last scenes that we shot, not only in the movie, but also when we shot them, it was the last.
The last. Yes, and it was, I don't know, I remember that we drove afterwards with your car to put on fuel. And it was such a, I don't know, I just felt happy that I'm able to be an actor and to act what I want.
I think that's extraordinary. I think, a lot of actors will say that if the motivation for that project, whatever project it may be, is to allow you to act in something that you really want and prove that you can do it, despite what people think, oh, you're not a comedy actor. Well, how do you know? And I think that's great. That's great that, and it already gives it so much meaning. And then obviously all the other layers added on top of that.
And I have to say that also the rehearsing part was very, very nice for me. So I think the rehearsals were more free for me because I was, and more fun because I was more pressure free. There wasn't so much pressure on me, and there wasn't so much stress around, and I got to enjoy it more. And I have to say, God, we laughed so much. So I don't know if you've seen in the film that Mirabella is a teacher of history of art, and I can still remember that I had to laugh every time Axel said, instead of oh, and what does it mean to be a teacher of history of farts instead of art? And he would do this all the time, and that's just one example. So we laughed so much. Yeah, it was very funny.
I think it's true, because you were telling me before as well in our previous conversations about the amount of pressure that you felt on the shooting days, especially at the beginning when you had to coordinate so many people. So I think definitely, it does sound only natural that in those rehearsals and then towards the end of shooting, I think maybe that's also why you enjoyed it so much, because you were coming to an end and you could just relax a little bit. You could see the final product almost.
Yes, and also I have to say that the fact that you're on location as an actor, I mean, and on location, that's the beauty of film, that you get to go outside and shoot something. You don't have to stay inside
And
like in
imagine
theater
it.
and imagine
Yeah.
it. So yeah.
Yeah. And so far we've learned that you wrote, acted, directed, and produced the piece, and we've learned a little bit about the kind of stress that happened in pre and production and more so during the actual shooting time. But I was wondering if you can tell us a little bit about your direct involvement in post-production. So was there anything that, of course you hired certain people to do certain jobs for you, but was there anything that you did hands-on and it was just you doing it?
Yes, I edited the film. Oh, there we go. I did the rough cuts, because there were many versions of the film. And because I was inexperienced as a scriptwriter and as a director, I think that's what made my life extremely difficult in the post-production, because I had to rewrite the script in post-production and redirect the film in post-production, you know.
Hence why you went from 50 pages to a 20-minute short.
Yeah, exactly. I edited it, and the very first version of the rough cut was around 70 minutes long, and then I brought it down to 50 minutes, and then to 40 minutes, and then in the end phase of the editing, I would say, we've decided that, okay, I'm just gonna throw this in the air, just switch the chronology, play with it, play with the scenes, see what I can kick out, so that the film becomes really concentrated and really, because in the longer versions, people would tell me, oh, this is a really nice film, but there are a few moments that are a bit dead. And why? Because we had a lot of static scenes in the restaurant, where we would just talk. And so I've just decided, actually somebody, a composer that I was supposed to work with, and who was also a script advisor, and also worked on various film festivals, told me, look, I really love this project. I think it's great. I think it has great potential, but you really need to bring it down, because first of all, because of festivals, it's very hard to enter a medium-length film into a festival, and secondly, because of the fact that the more concentrated it is, the more you kick out, the more intense it becomes.
And I think the pace changes as well.
And the pace changes, exactly. And then you don't give the audience a chance to get bored. To get bored, or to lose the, it has to be laugh after in a comedy. It has to be, quite.
Yeah, it has to be upbeat and fast paced.
It's
true.
Yeah.
So I know that you edited the film and practically made it into what it is, and so then I also know that you had to hire someone to do your sound design for you, from what I know, right?
Exactly.
And
so
then,
for the editing in the end phase, I also got a collaborator who helped me polish it, because obviously when it's your baby, it's very hard to kick out scenes. So there had to be somebody cold-heartedly ruthless, who would just cut out the garbage, cut out the things that weren't necessary. And luckily I had found this person in Ligia, who is a Romanian editor, and she's been working on feature films as well and documentaries already. So she was a great help. And yes, I had to find a sound designer, of course, because you know what I've heard most from the people that I've from the industry, especially directors or more experienced people from the industry, is that a lot of short films have very bad sound.
And it's true.
Yeah, because people don't invest the time and the effort, and it also costs a lot of money.
I think that's the most costly thing when you do a small production, though, from what I know.
Yeah, to have a really, really good sound. And I'm not saying that we are perfect, because we're not, our sound isn't perfect. But it was also because we couldn't afford on production to have somebody experienced on the sound department, we had to correct a lot of the stuff afterwards in post-production. So we've, me and Axel met, for example, last year, and we re-recorded the whole last scene.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this before in a previous conversation we
had. Because
yeah.
Because there were cars passing by, and I felt like they're just ruining the romantic atmosphere for the story. And it was really difficult to find a good sound designer who could offer me a reasonable price and at the same time have the necessary skills and the necessary experience to correct the mistakes that we made during production. So that was the hardest thing for me in post-production. I had made so many mistakes during production that I then had to correct afterwards.
In post, yeah. So just to sort of sum up, so you edited the film and then you had a collaborator towards the end of that process. Then you had someone do your sound design. I know that you've sorted out music by employing this website where you can buy already made tracks, and you did it all yourself, so you kind of designed the music as well. And then what I was interested a little bit in is what we spoke about previously, which we didn't touch so much on, is the marketing side of things. Was that completely new to you, or did you already have some experience in how to market a project of any kind? And how did you find that marketing, which I'm guessing will include the festivals and the promotion through festivals? If you can tell us a little bit about that.
I didn't really realize that I have to do the marketing side of it until the project was ready. And then I thought, wow, finally. I got this off my shoulders and I can finally do something else. And then I realized, okay, I have this product now and I have to do something with it. And I knew about the festivals because as an actor, I've been in other films that have been on festivals. I knew how it works. I knew you have to submit them. I knew what you need to enter into a film festival. So I sort of knew the process. But I didn't really grasp how much work there still is to be done after the film is completed. And I'm not saying that I'm not an expert on marketing or anything or on film distribution, no way. And I'm still learning a lot. I'm learning while doing it, because that's why the whole project took such a long time, because I was learning while
as you were doing
everything, every little bit, except for the acting bit, which I already knew how to do more or less. All the other jobs I learned while doing them. And the editing as well, it was the first time I had edited a film from scratch. And I was very disoriented a lot of the time, especially in the post-production. I had no idea whether I'm on the right track or not. And there was no one to tell me.
But I think for all of that confusion, if you don't mind me interrupting, I think you've done a great job. I think I've seen the film, and I'm sure people who are watching this will see the film and will agree with me. I think it's really important actually that we talk about how difficult it was, because when you then see the final product, you understand that, okay, yeah, it was difficult, but she's done a great job.
Thanks,
you really have.
I think that's another thing. I think that the reason why it was so difficult is because I also wanted a good result in every department, and I didn't give up until it was there where I wanted it to be.
You had high standards for yourself.
Exactly, for the really sound, for the color grading. I wanted everything to be as best as we could do it. You could do it,
with what you had.
Because I was aware I cannot change the script anymore, or I cannot invent a shot that I don't have and put it in there, a close-up, for example, or something. But I can rearrange this material in such a way that the end result is, if not perfect, at least good, you know.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
I wanted to be at peace with myself that I did everything that I could to have the best end result in the end.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's yeah. That's
And
beautiful.
that's why it took me such a long time, because
Yeah.
we've edited and re-edited and re-edited 1,000 times this material. I know it by heart.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to go back to the story a little bit and the characters, and I wanted to ask, and maybe we can start with Axel. What was the thing that you enjoyed most about playing the character of Titus?
Okay. Which scene or
Anything to do with him? Maybe there was something in particular that he did that you enjoyed a lot, maybe a specific scene, anything really to do with the character of Titus that you really enjoyed doing. Maybe he had a sort of ongoing joke or something like that.
yes, what I like is that naive, yes, and that he is sincere. He says everything he's thinking, and that's why he sometimes
he gets in trouble.
Yeah, it is a bit silly.
Yes, he's very authentic, and that's what I like at him. Then I enjoyed a lot of the non-verbal stuff, like for example in the car when he wants to. Do we say a spoiler or not?
Oh yeah, I don't know,
Melania,
Melania,
director.
should we?
If you can avoid it somehow, or wrap it up in a non-spoiler.
Okay, I won't say all the details,
Yeah.
but he must drive her home, and but he knows not where she is.
She lives.
Lives, yes, where she lives, and she falls asleep, and it's a thing.
There's a
Yes,
physical comedy
Yeah.
element there that's really nice. Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I
For
really
example,
enjoyed that as well. I
things
really
like
like
that,
that.
or
Mhm.
like very like how should I say it? Reactions that are not necessary, very
Big or
yes, or very common, you know, like when is food is food
when the food
when the
is
food
flying
is,
around. Yeah.
yes, it's falling down on us in the restaurant. It's like, okay, now it's food on the table, let's eat, like, you know.
Yeah. I see what you
Oh,
mean.
what happened?
Unusual things, and like his
Reactions.
little, very quirky character. I think he is, isn't he? He's got his little ticks, his little things that he does, which are not what you'd expect someone to do, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I really thoroughly enjoyed both your, like, the portrayals of the characters. I thought it was for the style of the film, and for what I felt like I was in that world, and it was partly because of the two characters and how well they were sort of contoured and yeah, really enjoyed it. What about you, Melania? Anything that you really enjoyed about playing Mirabella?
Oh, I loved the bit where she's drunk. I absolutely
So
loved
good.
it was so, because the entire film she's so well behaved and she's so rigid, and every little gesture is so calculated because that's who she is. And I'm going to touch on a little detail here. She has an obsessive compulsive disorder, which makes her very kind of robotic in a lot of ways, in the way she's reacting. But then she has one moment where she drinks a little bit too much, and we see a completely different side of her. That was so much fun to play that.
It looked like it would be. It really was a very fun part of the film. Okay, and now going on actually from this, I wanted, without giving any spoilers, so this is why I thought of this question, to feel and to get to know a little bit more about these two characters. I wanted you guys to tell me, what do you think your characters, so Titus and Mirabella, would feel like or act like when attending an emergency room for, I don't know, something silly like breaking your arm or something, but during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Titus, would you like to start?
Yes, please.
First of all, I think there could be made some comedic moments with the mask, like he's always forgetting to put the mask.
Oh yeah.
Put the mask, and then he wants to, I don't know, mouth to mouth. If, for example,
to help
Melania,
people.
if Melania had some, or yes, some in the hospitals, someone's come that can breathe, and they say, I can help. Oh, but I have to. So it can be made with this. And then I don't know. So yes, and other stuff. We can invent stuff like physical stuff. I think that would be very in contrast with like in the movie. It's romantic and it's about love and fear, but we are doing comedic moments, so the contrast is better. And that's why also here in the hospital, so something bad happened. Yes, it's in the hospital.
Yeah, it's tragic comedy.
But we have to both sides, and it's not you laugh, but you also see
the serious parts of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you think he would be fairly comfortable being in a hospital during the pandemic, but not having COVID? Or would he be one of those people who is quite anxious and therefore be a little bit stressed about even the idea of being in a hospital?
I think he wouldn't even know. He would forget all the time that there's a pandemic.
Yes, I think that's why we were also nominated for best acting duo, because I think these two characters are very
complementary. Yes,
complementary. So she is very anxious. I think Mirabella would be very pandemic, would not be very attentive, and Titus would be like the opposite, you know.
Okay, so that brings me on to Mirabella then. Can we discuss a little bit about what do you think she would be like if she had to step into a hospital room,
you know what,
during the COVID pandemic?
I think if she would have a broken leg or a broken arm, I think she would just stay until the pandemic passes.
Stay at home, you mean? Yeah.
I don't think she would go outside. She wouldn't venture. She wouldn't take this risk because
I would be the doctor.
Yeah.
So Titus will be the doctor to come at her place, and he will improvise doing what she has on. Yes.
Can I just say, based on what you guys have said now, I would genuinely see a film about Titus and Mirabella during the COVID pandemic, because I think it would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
It would be so funny to, oh yes, we're exploring our relationship, but bang, it's the pandemic, and then it just makes everything more difficult. And
I mean, any situation that you put them in, it's crazy because they are crazy. And as I said, I think she wouldn't go out of the house, and I think she would rather die. She would rather die of a broken leg than go out and be kind of attacked by all these germs and viruses around. And yes, I think actually I don't think that Titus would nurse her or take care of her. I think he would drug her or something and take her to the hospital.
Yeah, just
without
exactly
her
against
knowing
her will.
that.
Yeah.
But Melania, that will happen in the end.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
We put 50 pages. That happens in the end.
Yeah.
And we make 20 minutes.
You're right. First, he tries everything. He tries to fix her leg at home, and one day passes, 2 days pass, and she's not getting better, but she still refuses to go out. Yeah.
This would be I would watch this film. So I'm just putting this out there. Start writing the script. Great. That was some really great stuff.
But on that note, I want to say that we are thinking about doing a series about these two characters.
I'm gonna come in a second exactly to this question. So I was gonna ask now for both of you. We've learned so much about the I guess the process of it. We know that it's taken years to make it from page to the final product. We know that you still got so much ahead of you, because I know Melania has been telling me privately that yes, you've entered it to a number of festivals and you've had awards and you've had nominations, as we've heard earlier, but there are still other festivals coming up, and hopefully it will be in the festival circuit for quite a while. And then God knows, but this is what I want to get to now is what are your dreams for both of you for this project going forward? And it could be anything, not necessarily just something that you see within the next 3 months. It could be something a little bit more out of the box, more long term. I don't know what let me know what your dreams are basically for this project.
Axel.
Netflix.
Brilliant. That was the kind of answer I was looking for. So do you want to expand on that? What do you mean when you say Netflix, or just leave it up to
like
people's
a
understanding?
Series about Titus and Mirabella, and it can be Titus and Mirabella at the seaside, Titus and Mirabella in the mountains, Titus and Mirabella on their wedding or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you see it as a series of films, or as a series like a show with episodes and seasons, and each season is in a different place? Or
I'm gonna have to think about that because I'm the creator.
Yeah, of course. No, I just wonder what his vision is.
I don't know. I like films, but it can be also like to expand a little bit, you know, to go a little bit deeper. But it can be also like series for about, I don't know, 40 minutes.
Yeah. And just do a few. Yeah, that sounds great. I think the idea of the comedy of the situational comedy, I don't even know if that's the right term in English, but anyways, that, you know, the idea of Titus and Mirabella at the seaside, at mountainside, abroad, whatever, I think that would be something that would go really well for these two characters, because like you said, Melania, actually, I think any situation you put these characters in, it would be hilarious for whatever reason. But what I wanted to add is, before you tell us about your dreams and plans for it, is something that I thought of earlier, which I forgot to say, is yes, they are comical and hilarious because they're crazy in their own way, but I think what's beautiful about them is that they reveal something very human. And I think in the way that they act, they seem a little bit odd, but they do have something very genuine and very human in them, and very honest and authentic, like Axel was saying. And I think it makes it easier to deal with something so profound in a light-hearted way. And I think that's the secret of comedy, that yes, we're talking about maybe some really profound things, like, you know, I've never had I don't know, I've always dreamt of doing something, I've never done it, and here I am trying to do it. But if it's funny and clumsy and almost clown-like in a way, we can reveal that humanity in a much more digestible way. It's not heartbreaking, it's not, oh my god, the world is ending.
But that's something, for example, that I was quite surprised of in the Lady Filmmakers Festival. They had categories, they had film blocks, for example, ladies kick butt, which means badass ladies, you know, or comedies, illuminate section. Illuminate was, for example, for the films that had a social background, like a social topic. And I was very surprised that they didn't program our film into the comedy block, they programmed it into the social things block. And the reason, because I asked, and the reason for that was that they said, look, this film is about relationships and about the drama and the pain of the people who maybe have reached 40 or even 50. You know, there are people who are old and who have never had a romantic relationship ever in their lives. And this is actually a quite important topic, and I think people rarely speak of it. And you know why? Because it's also a sort of taboo. I think a lot of people don't talk about it.
There's a lot of shame around the
and
topic,
it's a lot of shame, because already when you're 25 and you haven't had a real romantic relationship, because there are two categories, let's say, the people who've had flings and dates and stuff, and who've had maybe a sexual experience, and the other category who've never ever even touched another person intimately, you know. And I've met such a person, and I know how miserable he is. He's 40 now, and he's trying to he's gone to an agency for couples who look for who help
a match
to find a match, but they also do therapy with you. So they also try to find the reason why you didn't succeed yet in because I think a lot of these things come from fear and from some kind of
like a complex or an
issue. Exactly. And I forgot to mention this, that he also inspired my idea behind.
That's so cool.
Yes, because I wanted to do a comedy, but I also wanted to talk about an issue that is important at the same time. And then this idea came up to me because I was talking to another friend, to a common friend of ours, about him and about what could we do to help him. Because if you present him, if you introduce him a woman, he just panics, you know. And that was my inspiration for Titus.
That's I think that's really good, and I think you're definitely sat right now on a pot of gold, because it's a like they said, it's a topic that's not being discussed a lot. And I think if you have as you know, maybe it sounds very business-like when I say this, but if you've got something that nobody else is talking about, you need to do whatever you can to get as much as you can out of it. Obviously you're doing it for the right reason, because it inspires you, but at the same time it gives you, I think, an edge. It gives you a unique selling point, which you have, you know. But it's so beautiful. I think we briefly talked about the fact that you had a human inspiration, as it were,
and actually,
but I had forgotten about this, and now that you reminded me, that is and see, what you did is open a conversation, and maybe that will help him, because it will make him feel less ashamed, or it will, you know, the whole thing will be...
I was discussing with this other friend about my film, and whether, because I was thinking, should we show him my film or shouldn't we? And he said, well, you know, I think it would actually make him sad, because my film has a happy ending, spoiler. And maybe he would feel like, look, all the weirdos in the world end up with somebody. Nobody, as weird as you may be, you can still find somebody who would love you. And we haven't showed him the film yet, so I don't know.
I agree with you, but I just going to put a spanner in the works here. I agree with what your friend has said, and I think definitely me as a person, me, Beatrice, the private person, I tend to be very much the glass half empty, but you don't know whether this person is glass half empty or glass half full. They might see it like, oh my God, everyone's, do you know what, maybe this gives me the inspiration to I don't know, because obviously I don't know this person, but maybe it's something worth considering.
And I also had another female friend who it wasn't such a tragic case like this other friend, but she was already getting 30, and all her friends were getting married and everything, and she was sort of extremely low and sad about the fact that she doesn't have a boyfriend, and all the other friends are having children now and they're getting married, and I remember that she was just like Mirabella, she was sort of idealizing the idea of relationship, and she kept showing me these photos of gorgeous men who had the six packs and everything, and I was like, look here, girl, this is not gonna happen. Get into the real world, you know. And I was actually inspired for Mirabella about this issue, because she's also she has preconceptions about how a man should act and how a man should court a woman, and how, because she even has a monologue at the end of the film about this, and how a date should go and how things should develop. So there are all these boxes that, and she doesn't see it, that she's the one who is in the way of her happiness.
And I think that's a really good point that you've touched on. And what it made me think of now is there are all these things, barriers that we put up for ourselves. But I think where it comes from, and now we're getting into it, really, we are getting into it, the sort of social topic and more political, not political, but it is, I think, for me at least, it's a product of the society that we live in, which is very much a tick a box.
Yeah.
Have you ticked that box? You're 30
Exactly.
and you don't have children. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with you? Like, get alive. And that's what I think it's really interesting, and that could be explored more if you I'm just throwing ideas out there, if you guys were to hopefully carry on, you know, it's this idea that we just should really mind our own business and stop trying to think about what everyone else is telling us we should be doing. But I think definitely it's such a potent idea to grow from, you know, and such potent characters to grow from. So now tell us, what are your plans and hopes and dreams? It could be the smallest things, but it could also be the biggest things. Of course, if you want to share them with us, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I just want to say how grateful I am for everything that already happened with our film. Because I have to say, I had so much doubt while doing it, and so much second guessing. And knowing that this is my first film, and knowing how little I knew when I started doing it about the film industry and about movie making in general, I have to say that I'm quite happy with where we are now and with what happened until now with our film. My big wish is that people come and see it. I really, because I didn't get yet the opportunity to really experience more audiences and see how they respond to the film. We only had one live screening in Bucharest because of the pandemic, of course. All the other festivals went online, and whilst it is very nice hearing that people enjoyed it, it's a completely different feeling being in the room and seeing the reactions live.
Yeah.
Because as an actor, you know, you don't get to see that while you're acting. You only get that afterwards in the cinema.
Yeah.
So I would really love to, hopefully, to recover from this crisis in the future, from the COVID situation, and I hope that more festivals would be interested in screening our film. And of course, I would love to develop, because look, when you're doing a short film, it's obviously not for getting rich, because you're never getting rich from a short film.
You're losing money, most likely.
Oh yeah. But what I would really like is for us to get noticed as creators and as actors, and maybe for somebody to see the potential, as you said, in the material and in the idea, and give us money to make a series.
So touching on that, actually, say that you were in a position where you could make a series. I'm just sort of interested in how or where would this take the two characters. Would you continue filming in English? Would you want to change that? Would you place it somewhere else in the world, not in Germany?
So I already have a few. I already started developing the story. There are there are endless possibilities, but there are two possibilities that I thought of. One is to make a TV series, like in a classic way, with seasons, episodes, exploring, like looking at their lives, at their life arc, maybe going until they're retired. You know, grandpa and grandma, who knows, and placing them in different, like just following their life development and their relationship, because that's what this is about the relationship. Okay, we've seen how they are going on their first date, but what about a 1-year relationship? What happens then? Are they gonna stay together? Are they not? Is this working?
When COVID comes, what happens then?
So there are so many question marks still in the air, you know, about the relationship. And then what is happening when they're having a kid? That's also interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's one possibility, and another possibility is to make a feature film, because I already have the idea and how the story could develop, and it can still be a 2 hours film about their first date, but that first date would be a lot crazier than what we see in this short film. And so this would be the things that I thought of. Both can be done.
Yeah.
We will see which one is the winner.
And where would you want to do that? That's what I'm curious about, because your situation was slightly different when you did the first one, and the reason you did it in Passau because you were there.
Yeah,
and you were just finished. So I wondered, would you change it, put in a different city, or go back to Passau?
I would really like to explore the fact that they're immigrants, because we didn't really touch up on that subject in the short film because of the
can I say, I actually really enjoyed that. I really like the fact that these were two people with accents that didn't belong to that country, that were speaking English, and it wasn't addressed.
Yeah.
It was, I'm not saying it's not a good idea.
Explained.
I think it's a great idea that you want to explore the idea of being a Romanian expat and all of that, because I think you've got, again, so much potential and so much to talk about, so much that hasn't been talked about. But I think it was lovely that for once there was a film with these people with a foreign accent in English, where it didn't matter that they were foreign. It was a film about love and about who they were. And I really, really liked that.
And from thank you for your feedback. And from a producer's point of view, everybody would say, "Are you crazy? This movie isn't Romanian. It isn't German. It isn't English. It's not gonna sell." And probably, I'm sure there were film festivals who didn't take on our film because it didn't belong to any of these countries, because it was a mixed match. But funnily enough, look, America responded to it. Because probably because the US is full of immigrants. Yeah.
True. So true.
And so that's one subject that I would like to touch on in the longer version, because it didn't get explored. And when I say explored, I don't mean explained, but really explored in a sense that for example, and I know from now, I already know that Mirabella is going to be German, for example, because the way she behaves is already, you can see there is something very rigorous. She's very organized. She's very, she has this little obsessions about things. I'm not saying that Romanians don't have them. I'm just saying that I think it would be interesting for her to
explore her as a German person.
As a German, and maybe Titus as a Romanian,
Yeah, and it would be nice to have that sort of mixed marriage,
Yes.
or everything that comes with the fact that you don't speak the same mother language,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and the misunderstandings that are arising from this
exactly.
problem, and
The
also
language barrier.
Exactly, and I would also like to have it set in England. So, but I mean, I'm not gonna give up because they're
No,
not.
of course not.
They're not staying in England because they're traveling a lot. But I think it would be interesting to have two immigrants from two different countries in England,
an English-speaking country,
English-speaking country, and see what happens with this baggage, with this emotional baggage that they have.
That's brilliant. That's really
See,
I think someone needs
have
their dad back.
So I have a lot of girls here.
This is how Titus's life looks like.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So the only thing really that I wanted to ask as a last question is, we've already named a few times some of the festivals that the film's already been sort of nominated at and awarded at. So I just wondered now, in a sort of immediate future, where can people see the film, and also where can they follow the film to see, you know, what you guys are up to, and more information about what's going on with the film?
So you can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook as Titus and Mirabella. If you just search it, you will find it. And yes, we are gonna I had some notes on that somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. You can watch us on, the film on the festival La Femme Film Festival, which is in Los Angeles. It's a film festival dedicated to female filmmakers. And it will be streamed on demand between 15th and the 18th of October, which means in 3 days it's gonna start. So you can get your tickets, and you can only buy a ticket for, you can buy a ticket for just our film or for all films, or you can buy a ticket for all the events. And it's really not expensive. I think it's around $50 for the whole events, which includes panels, discussions with people from the industry, workshops, films. So yeah, I think it's a really cool thing that they're doing. And everything is, so if you go on La Femme Film Festival, you're gonna see there buy tickets and everything, and 2020 Film Festival, and you can go there and purchase a ticket if you want to see our film, or you can come and see an online interactive screening on the 17th of October at 8 p.m. I think it is. It's going to be on a very original new platform called Sia Live, which allows interactive screenings. That means that you can watch the film and at the same time the audience there and the team members, and you can ask questions. So we're gonna have a screening of our film, and then we're gonna have a Q&A afterwards.
And that's on the 17th of October.
17th of October in Los Angeles. In Europe, it's gonna be on the 18th because of the time difference, and it's gonna be at very early in the mornings. That's why I don't know if people will watch it here in Europe, because it's around 6 o'clock in the morning.
But maybe we got US audience. Say when it will be in LA.
Well, in LA, it's on the 17th of October. I think at 8 p.m. Okay.
Brilliant. But and all then, these details. Oh, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna be able probably to put all these details in the post, maybe. In post, maybe on the video, so you can find it easier. Then we're gonna be screened. The film will be screened on Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, if I'm not wrong, on the 8th of November. Again at 8 p.m. I think. So for the people who are from California, you can go to a drive-in cinema and watch it there on the 8th of November. It will also be screened. The screening is within the Lady Filmmakers Festival. And then there will be another screening within the Portland Comedy Film Festival in October, on the 25th of October, again at a drive-in screening, drive-in cinema. Okay, and I think this is it until in this autumn. And then in spring, we're gonna have more screenings in Romania planned. And we also have one screening in Austin, Texas, at a drive-in cinema in April, which is already scheduled for April. So yeah,
so it's quite a few places where people can watch the film, especially if they in the US, it seems.
yeah, but, people in the US love it. I don't know. Why?
That's really good. But I'm guessing they can always keep up to date with everything you guys do on the social media pages.
Exactly.
I think,
so if you follow our social media, you will get all the details, everything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Make sure you follow their pages to make sure you stay up to date with everything, because you never know, it might come in your area or country by next spring, because depending on the festivals that you're entering and you're being accepted into. But yeah, so happy for you both, and Melania especially, because you've put so much work into this baby of yours. I think it's from all the conversations we've had about this, I'm really in awe of everything that you've done. And and I'm really I really have big hopes and dreams myself, and I wasn't even involved for this project. And I really hope that you can take it further, because I think like we've reiterated so many times, but I think there is so much potential in it. And I really hope to see some more from both of you. And thank you so much for your time and your patience and your dedication, and for sharing your experiences with me. I really appreciated that.
Thank you as well. I just want to also thank to these two festivals that we're on right now, the Lady Filmmakers Festival and La Femme, because I think it's so important to encourage female filmmakers. It's not easy being a woman in a man's job. It really isn't. And I'm not saying this just because it's a cliche. I really had some moments in this journey of making the film where I thought, wow, I think if I would have been a man, it would have been a lot easier.
Do you think more doors would have opened for you if you were a man? Would you have been taken more seriously? Is that what you mean?
Yes, I would have been taken more seriously. So I think that, and also I feel like people just hate it when a woman is successful. It's just, I just have this feeling like, I don't know why that is. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to thank them, because it really means a lot. And I've met some really cool people via Zoom and online, other female filmmakers who've directed, written, produced feature films and starred in them. And it's just knowing how hard it is to do a short film. I'm just in awe of these women who've done feature films, documentaries, animations. And so thank you, La Femme Film Festival and Lady Filmmakers Festival.
Anything else either of you want to add, just for the end, as a conclusion maybe?
Titus and Mirabella, this is just the beginning.
Stay tuned.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Brilliant. You're very welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely my pleasure.